Yeah.
They've forgotten those of us who have been here all the time.
A very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are. You are tuned to Decision Uganda. I'm your host, Ronnie Mayanja. Joining me is a panel of experts. Once again, we're going to be discussing the outcome of the elections and some of the developments that have actually taken place today. I'm joined by Alex Mukulu, who is a playwright and someone who definitely needs no introduction, having been in the business for quite some time, written political plays. I just wanted to pick his brain on his take of what has been going on as far as this whole process is concerned. And then I have Andrew Mwenda, managing editor, the Independent newspaper. He's
also known as the old man of the clan.
Yes, please. He's joining us once again to discuss any surprises as far as the elections were concerned. Then Mr. Robert Kabushenga, the Chief Executive Officer of Vision Group, joins us once again to put a spin or tell us what's
I think you need to. There is one word you need to remove.
Yes.
This the most abused word in English. Experts.
Experts.
We're not experts on anything.
So you're just here to
share some ideas. We're really not experts. I think sometimes it's exaggerated. You know, in Europe there are some people, some Europeans, expert on Africa. The man is.
Well, I'm sure that some of these positions have been earned. Otherwise, if that wasn't the case, you wouldn't be here. But anyhow, we're going to be discussing some of the developments that did take place today. And I just wanted to start with you. Actually, let me start with you, Andrew. Any surprises? We were here last night and we discussed quite a number of developments. Are you surprised that probably what the Afrobarometer polls were sort of predicting is proving to be the case? What would you say?
Well, actually, I'm surprised because President Yoweri Museveni has always outperformed opinion polls. So the lowest opinion poll gave him 65, the highest gave him 70. I would have expected him to get 67.5, and then if you add there, he has a rigging margin of about 7 to 10%. He should have. I was expecting him to get about 73 to 75%. Right now, I hear 93% of the vote tallied. President Museveni has 66.1, which means the rigging must have been very low.
Okay.
So there is nothing surprising to me.
You actually believe there was some rigging that took place in his favor?
No. This is what I'm saying. That you see, the opinion polls were between 65 to 70%, which would give him 67.5. If we added a rigging margin of 7%, he would go to something like 74.5 to 75. But the fact that he's now 66.1 indicates that really there must have been very, very minimal or negligible rigging, and which leads me to my disappointment, because I felt that Besigye, if I was Besigye, I would have considered, because he has been so defeated even in areas where he was strong. Because let me give an example of Lira.
Yes.
In 2006, Museveni got 8.7% in Lira. Besigye got 82.3%. This time, Museveni has above 70% and Besigye has in the single digit. Surely, if Besigye wanted to contribute to Uganda's democratization process, I think it should have come out on, because you see, this country at its current level of development can never have a perfect election. You can even imagine the United States in 2000 and in 2004 had problems in Ohio and later in Florida.
That is true.
After 250 years of voting. What of this after 15 or 16 years of voting? So I felt that Besigye would have contributed a lot and he would have gone in history really as a great and honorable man by saying, well, there are some irregularities, but I concede. Congratulate the winner.
There was talk about him having tallying centers. I don't know whether they're actually compiling their own results, but I wanted to move over to you, Alex. What has been your take as far as the results were concerned before we get to Robert?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, because if it is a script, talking about where I come from, if it is a script, I was surprised long time ago, and this was just the end of the script, and I wasn't surprised at all, because the script showed that he was going to be the hero once again. Yes, since 5 years ago, it has been shown in various areas of communication, areas of politicking, dialoguing, talking, the way he talks, and
okay.
I wasn't surprised.
Now let me ask you, you wrote a play, 30 Years of Bananas, basically, because you did 30 Years of Bananas some time back. When next year Uganda will be making 50 years, what would you be able to tell us we should look forward to as far as the future is concerned, vis-a-vis what has happened in this election?
Is it still 50 years of bananas?
No.
It is
if we consider
50 years of onions.
No, if we consider the 50 years, it would be 50 years of sour and sweet and sour, you know, the part which was sour and the part which has been sweet. But to answer your question,
yes.
What I'm looking at is the countercultures that have come as a result of the longevity of Museveni in power. The countercultures in terms of the way people dress, the way, especially in urban areas, the way people dress, the way people talk, the way people sing, the way people
carry themselves. Basically.
Carry themselves in where we have like so much obscenity and profanity. Some people are saying that this is as a result of the peace that the NRM has brought, you know, in the country. But I think this is another way of protesting, another way of being frustrated. Because obscenity in the 60s in America was used to
hippie culture.
The hippie culture. Those anti-Vietnam young girls and boys, you know, protested by using obscene languages and profanity. Today, when you look at people, women, sitting on borders with their G-strings out, you know, in their waists, and then the way people say,
Alex, what, you look at that stuff?
Yes, I do look at it. Why shouldn't I look at that stuff? And the way our so-called models,
do you find it appetizing to look at?
Some do appetize, but some don't. But that's not the issue. The issue is the profanity and the obscenity.
Yeah.
And obscenity in the definition is violating accepted standards and, you know, institutions.
Okay.
Yeah. So today the so-called models, the musicians, the bebekos who have been accompanying the electoral process, wherever it was, we look at these guys, and when you analyze what they say, what they talk about, what they sing, it's in itself a social protest. Which we are yet to, you ask me what should people look into the future. We are looking at a protest which is not violent, but it is there in the cooking. Because to me this is a protest. Women putting on like nude.
So were you surprised with the outcome of the vote, with President Museveni winning?
No, I answered that I wasn't surprised, because from the day go, I knew it was going to be this because of the way things are done.
Okay.
I am very observant, and I can tell that Mr. Kabushenga, if he says this today, tomorrow he will do this, he will do that. I can at least, as a writer of praise, I can put words into the protagonist or the antagonist.
Okay.
So
just hold your foot right over there. Let me get over to Mr. Kabushenga, the Chief Executive Officer at the New Vision Group. What has been your assessment of this entire electoral process? What can you tell us? I actually wanted to also get your view, because there was something very interesting as far as the New Vision was concerned. I just felt having a picture of the president across pretty much when Monitor was able to have a split page on its front cover about 2 days ago. I don't know what you would have to say. Don't you feel that that was leading the electorate in a certain way? What would you have to say about your take on that?
That's precisely the point.
Okay.
I mean, really. Look, first of all, I am not a disinterested party. I'm a very interested party in the future of this country.
Okay.
And therefore, the type of leadership that we select to shepherd this country into the kind of future that we want, we must play an active role in whatever way. So, and I have been a very active supporter of the president, and it's not the first time, and you know, the Monitor who you are praising very much.
No, I'm not praising him.
I just felt, you know, you're praising the objectivity, which is better than ours.
Yes.
It did say 5 years ago, I think Andrew was still there then, that they had appointed me as a cadre in New Vision. So this stuff is not new, so I'm not interested very much.
Okay.
But precisely because I have been involved, there are some things I will tell you. One of them, you asked about the tallying center of Besiti. It's actually existed, and we had our own intelligence to establish what he was going to do, because he kept saying he was going to announce results. Even when he called a press conference, he said he was going to announce results. Well, he didn't announce results because his tallying center told him exactly what the Electoral Commission is announcing. So it would have been very embarrassing for him to announce a victory by the president. So this whole false thing about his center being raided is actually fiction. But back to your question about the way we approach that issue. In 2000 and the last election of Tony Blair, when the Pope died, I think it was Pope John Paul, it was around the same time, the what's that newspaper, not the News of the World, The Sun, took a very interesting position. You know, when the Pope is selected, there is white smoke which comes out of a chimney. Yes. Then you know the Pope has been selected.
That is true.
The editors at that newspaper let out pink smoke, I think it was pink or something, to show that they actually supported the leadership of Tony Blair and gave, I think it was 10 or 12 reasons why they felt that Britain would be better off under a Blair leadership. And they did exactly the same in 2000, I think, when the what's his name, Gordon Brown, they said Britain under Gordon Brown is a danger, so David Cameron should take over. I see no problem whatsoever with people in a privileged position in a newspaper to take a position, or whatever media house. They just have to be honest about it. What I have a problem with is pretending that you're objective when actually when you're analyzed, you find that you have biases. Okay. We're human beings, we have preferences, and the best thing is to let those preferences come out. Now, people make choices. That's what an election is about. And they make those choices based on various influences. If we're able to influence them to make a choice in a particular direction, well and good. If we don't, too bad.
But you see, Ronnie, I would disagree with Robert.
Yeah.
First, because if you own a private newspaper, you have the freedom to decide which candidate you want to support. Really.
Yes,
if you say we are CNN, we are independent, we are monitor, this is a candidate of our choice, I agree with Robert that you should be very clear. Because sometimes they think that we hide our personal, our partisan biases behind the pretense that we are being objective. So I respect the person who is much more genuine, says, well, like Robert is saying, I support Museveni, and the newspaper I lead is going to be openly supportive. But then I should say, other than the front page, I felt that New Vision covered this electoral process better than all of us. Okay. There were always stories about Besigye. You'd find these large rallies and pictures of them on the third page or the fourth page. Museveni only enjoyed the front page. So there was equitable coverage by New Vision. Okay. From a professional point of view, I would fault them on the front page, but knowing their ownership.
Why do you say Museveni only enjoyed the front page? I'm
saying that they use the front page as a flag for Museveni. You see, Alex, I begin my analysis of things on the fact that this is an African country. I'm not going to pretend that this is the United States or this is Britain. And I can understand also, even if Robert did not want what the kind of influences and pressures that would be on New Vision to bias reporting in a particular way. And I cannot run away from that reality. I am not discussing Belgium here, I'm not discussing Britain. But where I wanted to disagree with Robert on the point of principle is that New Vision is publicly owned. Government owns 53%. So all of us are stakeholders. So New Vision cannot take a position.
No way. No. Please, Andrew.
Listen,
no.
Cannot take a position that for us.
Andrew, you speak for the independent. Let me speak for the New Vision.
No, but I'm a taxpayer.
No, you are.
I'm a taxpayer.
Andrew, as a taxpayer, I give you a dividend every year. So that's what you're entitled to, plus me paying taxes. And we do that. Diligently and religiously.
You feel
we are not, no, Ronnie, we are not a public broadcaster. This is where people get it wrong. A public broadcaster or a public, I think there's something like in the United States, there's something called National Public Radio and so on.
The NPR.
Now in Uganda, a typical case would be Uganda Broadcasting Corporation and so on. Those have an obligation to do what you're talking about.
Now let me ask you.
We make decisions that are in the commercial interests of the institution we run. It just so happens, by the way, that this time there was a coincidence between that and commercial interests of our shareholders. And trust me, it has been good business. I'm telling you that as a fact. We've done very well.